Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and this is my 45th Saturday vlog. Okay, so if you're wondering where I am, I'm still on Next Island. I'm up here. I'm going to be hunting papoos in the jungle. I don't even know if I cleaned out my bag last time. No. I don't even remember what this was from. Endorphins. Oh, I hunted a couple of... I had to take out a couple of the things as I was doing the storyline quests. I haven't been playing as many video games lately. I mean, I've been playing enough, but like right now I'm not playing a huge number of video games. I'm kind of taking a break and resetting because I do a lot of content creation, as you all know. So basically, if I'm not content creating, I'm pretty much not playing games right now. I'm into a book series based on an anime, or I should say, I'm into a book series that spawned one of my favorite animes. Let's be accurate here, Julian. The Irregular at Magic High School. And so I've been reading that, the light novel series. They're finally translating it into English, and the first 12 volumes have been translated, and so I'm on volume 5. I just started volume 5 last night. And so I've been really into reading those books. And it's good to take a break every once in a while. It is, because it's easy to get burnt out when you do a lot of content creation. And you don't take that mental break. Because you feel like you should be doing it all the time. And if you do that, you start to dislike what you do. And so by not constantly playing games, I'm able to kind of like, I'm able to decompress and defrag and kind of step away for a short period. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing games. I'm still going to create my normal content. Tomorrow I will be releasing another episode of NI storyline content, which I'm really impressed with, by the way. I was very surprised to find... I hate to put it this way, I was surprised to find more MMO-like content. And I know Calypso has it too, unfortunately, because I was not a content creator when I went into this. I kind of lost the spot where it started and where I left off. I would love to be able to... There's a part of me that would like to be able to reset the storyline content so I can do it again, so I can put it up on display. And honestly, depending on how the new mission system works out, I don't know if that's going to be strictly Iron missions or if they're resetting all story missions too. They haven't really announced that, and I know that the whole new challenge system is in its infancy. So it's entirely possible that the whole mission structure is going to be 100% turned on its head, and they might reset the whole shebang. But for now, I'll accept the Next Island missions because they're going pretty good, and I feel like there's an actual story behind it that I can kind of get into. You know, it's not as... It might not be as strictly in-depth as, say, a Final Fantasy story is, but let's face it. If there are gameplay-based storytellers in the world, they're all employed by Square Enix. So I'm not going to hold that against Mind Arc, because the competition in that is stiff. But I do feel like that they're doing a good job. And so I will give credit where credit is due. Better heal here before I die. I only have 13. Oh, did I do a controlled cost hunt before this? I gotta check storage. I know I have more than 13 ped worth of ammo left. I haven't been doing that much hunting. So yeah, I've been burning through some Final Fantasy XIV storyline quests. My lady got to a certain point, and she was like blowing way ahead of me. And with her being in school, she's kind of paused at that, but she's still 35 quests ahead of me. It's like, oh my god. So that's on my list of things to complete too, and that's stuff I don't record. Although I've considered doing a new character and recording all of it. There is a lot. Oh no, do they not have a storage terminal here? Well, shit. There's a lot there. There is a lot there. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, like I said, Square Enix really knows how to tell a story. In fact, I would dare say they know how to tell a better story than any other game developer I have had the pleasure of playing the material of. Which is probably why no matter how long I take a hiatus from them, there it is. From any of, playing any of their games. And I frankly got pissed off at them a few times. Whether it was quality of game or feeling like they were not putting any effort forth. Like, I was irritated at them for the way they created 10 as being pretty much a rail. I mean, it was a rail RPG. There was one path. The storyline was awesome. The gameplay suffered. Although looking back now, I can see the reason that they chose to do what they did, even though I don't necessarily agree with all of their decisions to do it. The same cannot be said of Blizzard. I look at Blizzard and I'm like, you done fucked up, Aaron. So yeah, it's been a nice kind of low-key month of October, and I feel it's really been needed in order to kind of recharge. I've done some work. I've got to finish a fencing shirt that I am hand sewing 100%. I did that for a couple of weeks. It still has a lot of work left to do on it, but because of the way you hand sew, it hurts your neck after a while, so you can't do it for a huge amount of time without taking a break, because I was starting to really get cramps in my shoulder and neck muscles. But I do need to pick that back up. I'd like to finish it sometime this year. I only started it a year ago. That seems to be the going rate for me too, is it takes me about a year and a half to complete a shirt, which is sad, but I've a nasty habit of squirreling too often. Although, no, I think I picked up the material for that this past summer, so maybe it wasn't quite that bad. But yeah, that's basically it. I still have plenty of material out there, and I've, like, Borderlands and other one-player games I have out through, like, the middle of November. Portal 2 is currently going. I have Journey is currently scheduled to post. I don't know if it'll be this weekend that I do it, but I also have Limbo I'm going to be playing, and I'll be posting that after Journey, so that should push me out toward Christmas time. I understand that Limbo is like 2 to 3 hours long. And I was also looking at doing another kind of open series. I've got a couple of retro games that I really want to play, but I don't want to intersperse them with my other one-player games. And I was thinking about doing a second one-player series, which the last time I did, a lengthy one-player series, 2 of them parallel, I had a hard time with it. Like, I tried doing, and honestly, I need to go back and finish the game that I ended up abandoning because I just couldn't keep up. Because it was Prey, and I feel like Prey is a really good game, but I couldn't focus on it while I was trying to do We Happy Few. I was just having too hard a time. I was too new to I think I was still too new to this particular type of content creation, or any content creation, really. I mean, I was less than a year in when I made that attempt, and I was also doing Crash Bandicoot, so I was actually juggling 3 or 4 games at a time. Speaking of which, I do need to finish the Crash series as well. There's a lot I need to do. I know I need to do a lot. I can hear you judging me. It's So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that will hold, but we'll figure it out. Other things that have been on my mind this week. I've been on Twitter a lot, which is unusual for me. But I'm finding that it's getting harder and harder to keep up with events, and Twitter is not real life. I mean, it is... It's kind of the hole-in-the-wall bar of social media, you know? If you're looking for a seedy establishment, Twitter's the place to go if you're in the social media world. It is just... It's like the place everyone goes to in order to just pour out the worst vitriol and crap. But at the same time, it's where everyone goes. And it's true that there are issues with Twitter. Every social media platform has issues. But I'm finding it harder and harder to stick to my principle of staying away from things like current events and politics. I don't want this to be a political commentary channel. I don't want this to be a news channel. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a political commentator. I do have opinions, which I try very hard to keep to myself as much as possible. But with the... what's the word I'm looking for? Polarization. That's the word. With the polarization of people, it's getting harder and harder to stay away from. And I hope that makes sense to everyone, because as people become more polarized, they get locked into their opinions, they become less and less willing to listen to dissenting opinions or counter arguments. And it doesn't matter whether it's because they want to stay good with their in-group, or because they actually have principled positions, or if it's a policy thing, or if it's a party thing. It's just... It's getting nuts. It's getting absolutely nuts. And it's not just in America, although America is definitely probably the... If I had to make a guess, America is where it is most poignant. Because here in America, politics is a sport. And I don't care who I piss off by saying that. Basically, our news channels have become reality television channels, and politics has become a sport. That's all it is. How many people can I get on my team, and how badly can we bash the other team? That's all it's come down to. And it's kind of terrifying, actually, because if you look around, and I make this joke on Facebook, I make this joke on Twitter. By the way, you can follow me on Twitter at Julian McBain. Because unlike on this channel, I actually talk about my political positions there. If you're actually interested, I would be surprised if you were. Where was I? Oh, I make this joke, but I'm really not kidding when I say we are in a cyberpunk dystopia, largely speaking. But it's really not what everyone thought it was going to be. We all thought it was going to be Shadowrun, or Blade Runner, or Soylent Green, although now there's a Soylent company. That kind of terrifies me. What makes matters worse is I actually tried their product, and it's not terrible. A little funky tasting because it's not milk-based. But, you know, we have I mean, shit, cybernetic implants are a thing that now exist. Think about that for a second. Don't believe me? Cochlear implants. Which I am not bitching about. Cochlear implants are extremely important. Artificial eyes are being worked on. This is an extremely important medical science. But what's more terrifying is the fact that we are able to be monitored by the things we carry in our pockets. You have a conversation and ads pop up on Facebook. I was doing work from an isolated company computer, and I found kind of an Easter egg in one of our programs, because it's a third-party software. And I went to look at my Facebook on break, and there was an ad for the same thing. I am not logged into personal systems on my work computer. And there is a part of me that wanted to laugh, because it's kind of hilarious if you think about it. But at the same time, it's also kind of terrifying. And so I just I do think that, you know, okay, fine, fair enough, we've reached the Cyberpunk Dystopia, what's the next step? But you know what? Maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's the direction we need to go, so we can go. Maybe it's a phase we need to go through. You know. Although, if we're gonna have the Cyberpunk Dystopia, I kind of want to see, you know, the Chemlight clothing and the weird jackets, and I want to see like real implants, like the Borg have. Okay. Maybe not the Collective, because Collective bad, but. You know, but I mean, just think about it. We go on Facebook and people say, hey, hive mind. We really are moving toward a Star Trek Borg society. In a lot of ways. I mean, not always. We still maintain our individuality, largely speaking, but it's just, it's like, holy shit. You know, I was rewatching episode, like, I take themes in the Next Generation, like I have watched every episode of Star Trek The Next Generation 6 times. Okay, and I had done that before I graduated from high school because I grew up loving Star Trek. And I say that with absolutely no shame whatsoever. Fight me. But I've taken to watching the different themes of Star Trek in a series. So like I'll binge all the Klingon episodes, and then I'll binge all the Borg episodes, and then I'll binge all the like the Duck Blind episodes where they're embedded in alien cultures and they have to disguise themselves as such, the time travel episodes. Just depending on what kind of things I want to think about. And I was like, you know what, I don't watch the Borg episodes very often because when Picard got taken by the Borg in their second encounter with the Borg, the whole concept terrified me. But looking at it, I'm like, I kind of want to do a little bit more. I want to see if this was really predictive. And as I was watching not only the first episode where Picard is taken over by a Borg and they extract him, and then I watched Borg, which is when they manage to give a Borg back his individuality. Because in Picard, that guy comes back, right? There's a huge Borg storyline with Picard, at least that's what it appears to be, because a whole bunch of former Borg are appearing. Well, shit, I wasn't paying enough attention. Come on. And a whole bunch of people who played Borg in the past and appears they're reprising their roles, like 7 of 9. Jerry Ryan's coming back as 7 of 9. That's a given. The guy who played Hugh is coming back as Hugh, which is the Borg that they extracted from the collective and gave the individuality back of. And so, it's obvious that the Borg are coming back in some way, shape, or form. So it kind of sparked that curiosity. Like, I never paid much attention to the Borg because as a kid, the Borg were terrifying. And as I was watching, I became more and more concerned because we're really seeing the advent of a human collective. To the point where, because of the polarization, or I should say we're seeing multiple collectives. And within those collectives, there's a fairly strict monoculture. And so that's something that we really need to kind of guard against. Because Star Trek's alien species that they're enemies of should not be predictive. Okay, they're supposed to be warnings. And I was making some jokes about, you know, us turning into the Borg on social media, and as I was making the jokes, they became less and less funny because if you look at the way things are going, it's kind of true. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not being like a super conspiracy theorist or, you know, some Alex Jones level whack job. It's just if you don't pay attention, then the possibility is there. I mean, think about it. Star Trek has predicted a lot of things. It predicted large-scale computers. It predicted use of intranets and internets. I mean, hell, the computer I'm playing this game on is more powerful than the conceptual computer for the Enterprise. That is not a joke. Less the voice interface system, which we do have voice interface systems, they're just woefully inaccurate because we're still having difficulties perfecting them. Although we have Google Home now, we have Alexa, we have Siri, they do exist. Star Trek has predicted so much of our technological advancement that I look at the things that were bad, and I say, okay, we've done all of these good things, let's make sure we don't have the bad. Except the bad's happening too. Maybe it's inevitable. Maybe it's just part of the human condition. I don't know. I kind of went off on this weird tangent this time. But I firmly believe we do, you know, it's not what the game's all predicted. But I do believe we live in a cyberpunk dystopia. I recently saw that there are people getting RFID chips implanted in them for various reasons. And that was kind of expected. You know, when RFID came out, I was really expecting that to happen over the long term. But again, that's a piece of technology that I think that it's one of those unforeseen consequences issues. You know, do we really know where we're going with that technology? Because you can use RFID cards for a lot of things. Or not RFID cards, but RFID chips. I'm going to take out this monkey, and I am going to abandon ship, because I am not making any progress. Okay, let's drop a ship. Bye-bye. Maybe it's just me. Drop a comment below if you think I've completely gone off the deep end, but and I'm not saying we're there yet. I'm not saying that, you know, it's super extreme, and maybe I'm being just a touch hyperbolic, but I am concerned, you know? I see these things and I'm like, it's feeling a little Borgish. Or it's feeling a little Shadowrun. Now, I've seen this movie. It's Blade Runner. So, anyway. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers. 1 subscription at a time. So make sure you subscribe. Guys, I really appreciate all your support. If you're with me at this point, I really appreciate all your support. You all have a wonderful day.